Hi, my name's Emma, and I'm a huge book nerd.
You're my library, always open for business, but you never show it. You're just sitting with it, but I know the score, and you're killing it.
It's thunderstorming. I love thunderstorms. So what did I read in May? Excellent question. I read some things in May. I didn't have a wonderful reading month, but it wasn't a bad reading month either. I feel pretty good about it. I've been sticking to the reading one play for fun a month thing pretty well, so I'm proud of myself for that. I still need to read one for June. Is this June? We are in June. Why did I just realize that now? And it's what, like June 7th? Okay, it's fine. So to hop right in, the first book that I read in May is research for the musical Fun Home, which I'm dramaturging in the fall, and that is Alison Bechdel's second book, Are You My Mother? And this is another graphic memoir. Fun Home was her first graphic memoir, and this is her second graphic memoir, which is focused on her relationship with her mother. It's really about her mother and like psychoanalysis, and so it focuses a lot on like what psychoanalysis is and like the methods of psychoanalysis paired with stories of her relationship with her mother. So it's really interesting. I think it's a lot drier than Fun Home, and it wasn't as much fun to read. Ha ha ha, Fun Home. But I think it's really useful in understanding her relationship with her mom. So if you're in Fun Home, then this might be something cool to read, especially if you're Alison or the mom. I ended up giving it 3 stars because it was just meh when I really think of it like objectively. The next book that I read in May is Traveling with Pomegranates by Sue Monk Kidd and her daughter, Anne Kidd Taylor. Sue Monk Kidd also wrote The Secret Life of Bees, which I'm actually currently reading and really enjoying. But Traveling with Pomegranates is a memoir written by her and her daughter, and it's about their travels in Greece and like how they relearn to have a relationship as adult daughter and mother. So I picked this up because I'm going to Europe with my family in a couple weeks, and I wanted my mom and I to read a book so that we could sort of connect over this trip, and so I finished reading it and now I've passed it off to her. It's not incredible. I think it's interesting and I think it'll be cool to like talk about with my mom, but it's not, I don't know, I only gave it 3 stars. It's not the most eye-opening, it's not really super about like their travels in Greece, it's more about them as people, which is fine. It just didn't blow me away. But I think if you're in a situation where you happen to be going on a trip with your mom and you're looking for something to read like that, then I would recommend it for that purpose. The next book that I read I listened to on audiobook, and that is Dear Martin by Nick Stone, and this is a YA novel about a young black man who is dealing with racism, basically. And it's really interesting because he goes to a private school with mostly white kids, and some of the views that these they're so privileged, and like, so am I, but like, oh, I loved the way that this book really presented like all arguments of how racism exists in society, or some argue doesn't exist, but I really liked that it like tackled every side of the argument. It made me really angry sometimes. I was just like so sitting there just like so mad because people are so stupid, but I loved that it showed where all of these people were coming from, that it portrayed all of these different viewpoints as human. It was able to do that because he was in a debate class, like on a debate team, so he got to debate with his classmates in a classroom setting. So I think that that tool really helped make that happen. I thought it was like a little bit kind of an easy way out and made it like a tiny bit preachy, but like we really need the preachy here. We need this information out in the world, so I was okay with it. I think it was really wonderful. It is a good YA book. It's a really good YA book. So if you were thinking about picking up Dear Martin and have not yet, then I seriously suggest you do. Next I read another play, and that is The Humans by Stephen Karam. And this was like recently on Broadway, and it's basically about a family on Thanksgiving, and they're in New York, and the daughter and her boyfriend just moved into this New York apartment, and her family's like helping her move in. It's basically about like disagreements within the family and really about the people. It is not plot driven in any way, but I really enjoyed it, and I think it's going to be great research for my play Rosemary and Thyme. By the way, while we're on the subject of my plays, I've been thinking about doing a video about my playwriting. Would that be something that you guys are interested in? Comment down below if you are. I'm not sure what I would talk about, but like what plays I'm writing, how I write plays, maybe something like that. Maybe I do a video series. Let me know what you would be interested in, because I'm super curious. Anyways, back to what we were talking about, The Humans. I think it's a great play, and I would have loved to see it on Broadway because I love the idea of like having multiple rooms in a house on stage all at the same time. So you sort of see people just existing in their spaces. I love that. So I really would have loved to see that, and I think it was really impactful and just like a slow burn and beautifully written. Loved it. I think I give it 4 stars. Then I read a play off the New Play Exchange. So this play is not actually published yet, but I thought I would mention it anyways in case I always like to help out a fellow playwright. But this is called Baby Strike by Lisa Case. And this is basically a like dystopian play about a world in which all women's reproductive rights are stripped away and birth control is not allowed and like all of this stuff. I should say it's loosely based on the play Lysistrata. If you know about that play, that's like where women, their husbands are all off fighting war, and the women all decide to start withholding sex until the war's over because they're just like, y'all are being stupid and we can't do anything about it because you won't listen to us, so we're gonna stop having sex with you. Very funny play. Anyways, this play is loosely based on that, and the women basically decide to go on a baby strike, and they say they're gonna stop having sex and they're not gonna get pregnant and they're not gonna have babies. They want motherhood to be treated as a profession. They want like compensation from the government when they have a child and like a lot more time off work and all that stuff. And I won't tell you any more about it, about how it ends, but it's more complicated than just these people get what they want or don't get what they want. It's interesting. I thought it had a lot of problems as well, but like I said, it's a new play. It's not published, so I think that it has a lot of potential and it's definitely interesting. Then I also listened to another audiobook, and that is The Circle by Dave Eggers, and I actually wasn't a huge fan. I ended up giving it 3 stars. I think that the idea of it is great. It's basically about this like company that's sort of like Facebook-esque called The Circle that like controls a lot of the internet and social media, maybe more like Apple actually, because it just like controls a lot of technology. It's like if Facebook and Apple were the same company. Anyways, so they start to kind of like take over the world because they just gain a monopoly on the internet, which is like a big, huge thing. I think the idea is great. I think the execution was a little flawed. I don't want to get too in depth, but basically it just felt sort of low stakes to me, kind of boring. It focused so much on this one character, May, and I really didn't like her, and I understand that like she doesn't have to be a great person to be the protagonist, and like I love flawed protagonists, I will be the first to say, but she was just so annoying. I was like, you're just so annoying and so dumb, and I want a smart female character. I don't want one that's really obnoxious and stupid. So there's that. And the movie's terrible. Do not watch the movie, it's truly horrendous. And the last book that I have to show you that I read in May is The Rosie Project by Graham Simsian. I think that's how you say his name. This was a really, really sweet summer read. I really liked this. This is basically about a man with Asperger's, but he doesn't know that he has Asperger's, who's having a really hard time finding love, so he comes up with the Wife Project, where he basically creates these guidelines for the perfect woman, or the woman that could be a suitable partner for himself. And then he meets Rosie, who is basically the opposite of everything on his list, and a love story ensues. It's really sweet. I really liked it. I actually ended up giving it 5 stars because it was just what I needed to read at the moment. I mean, 5-star reads are so dependent on like when I'm reading them, you know? At another time in my life, this could have been a 4-star read, but at the moment, it's a 5-star read. Those are all of the books that I read in May, which is not bad. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and comment down below what you read in May or what you want me to read in June. That would be fun. And yeah, let me know about the whole playwriting video thing. I would love to know about that, and I hope that you all enjoyed this video, and I will see you again next time. Bye!